91.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
See, Allan, you're steering into Geek Tank material. Don't step on it. Because on Geek Tank, we like to talk about the crossover between monster movies and real life. Yeah. So to recap, folks, just when you go to bed tonight, just keep in mind that within your furniture, within the walls of your home, within every surface of the area that you call your home, are tiny microscopic creatures that, when activated by water, will destroy you.
Tool Talk Radio, Saturday mornings at 8. News Talk 98.9. Geek Tank Radio, News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. Today, we're broadcasting live from the planet Kronos for the Klingon World Series. You guys have you been to the snack bar at this place?
It moves.
The tar burgers are real fresh. Let's just put it that way. Exceedingly fresh. And so, and
Joe,
I don't know what happens to the losing
You've got to stop booking us in these places where, Allan wants to go in and go, I want to try that.
Hey,
and it's not to eat. He wants to try to cook it.
I don't know, man. I'm more excited in this series than the one on Earth. But anyway, welcome to Geek Tank Radio.
Who's playing in this series? I really stopped listening to anything you said about baseball after the whole Cubs fiasco.
Yeah, me too. I don't know, and I don't care. So anyway, I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Alan Gilbreth and our buddy Max behind the glass. And we got a jam-packed show. Let's just get to it, guys.
All right.
We do. So we've got later in the show, we've definitely got to give out, let's call these the Geek Tank Radio honorable mentions in terms of horrifying yard designs and yard decorations for Halloween. Speaking of Halloween, Brandon, you're going to give a spoiler-filled review.
I'm not going to have to give you a spoiler-filled review. I mean, it's Halloween Kills. You kind of know what's going to happen. Michael Myers going to cut some people up.
Yeah, big spoiler there. So.
So, wait a minute. It's a Halloween movie. Somebody going to die.
Somebody going to die.
Go. There we go.
Okay. We have
Jamie Lee will scream.
We've been given another Bad Geek Confession, and folks, cool. that's your ticket to, that's your way to get 2 free tickets.
2 free tickets to the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention.
Speaking of the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention, later we'll give you an update on where we stand with that. And I just will tell you, spoiler, there's a lot of excitement. People just cannot wait to get back together and geek out. It's going to be great.
We are codependent.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but before we get to that, you guys, so I'm sort of horrified to admit none of us have seen Dune. It came out. It's been out for 24 hours, and somehow but we are going to see it.
I was gonna say, I used to be able to see movies on the regular, but I got a new job. I'm not as close to a theater anymore. I really like my new job. Yeah. So the movies can wait until Saturday mornings or. In this case, afternoons.
Yeah, by next week we'll have all seen it, so expect a nice spoiler-filled discussion with that.
The early responses, however, have been exceedingly favorable.
All right, Allan, without giving spoilers, what's the scuttlebutt out there? Because you're the big Dune man.
Oh,
right?
I am. I've been waiting on this one. One, we have a relatively new Paul Atreides, who's not 40.
Paul Atreides?
Yeah. So we're
is that Jason Momoa's character?
No.
That's
oh my God! Turn in your card,
I haven't
Joe.
seen it. So. Oh, he's the young guy. Oh. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so all right. One, the teenager is being played by a teenager.
Okay.
What a shocking surprise.
Well, I mean, he's of age.
He
looks young. He's not Kyle MacLachlan.
He's got a similar hairdo to Maximilian's too.
He does. Characters are well developed. The scenery is well thought out. The director is already well known for the minutia of detail he will go into.
And
this
Zendaya's in it.
So was designed for him.
Okay. Did he go after this, or did they go after him?
Say what?
No. He's been wanting to do this.
So he's spearheading this movement.
Well, it was one of those perfect storm kind of things. It's a certain comedic, good-looking actor finds a Deadpool suit, and suddenly life becomes something that must happen.
And it's an ensemble cast.
On the flip side of this, you have a lot of people that are fans. You have a lot of actors that are really looking forward to getting into this. We can give a huge shout out to a dear friend of the show.
Yeah.
Because he is Ooh, well, I get shivers just thinking about him playing the villainous character he gets to play.
Look, we've fallen over everything that David Dastmalchian does.
Yes.
But, yeah, I can't wait.
Alan, I got a homework assignment for you. You just made me think of this because a few years ago, Dave Dastmalchian, who plays Petrie in The Thinker from the Heracons, he's a
Harkonnen. Right.
Okay, back when in 2018 he was the guest of honor at the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention, and he came on Geek Tank Radio, and we did about a 45-minute interview with him, and he was talking about getting ready for this production. So that might be something to put up on Spotify.
If you send me that file, sir, it will go up.
Okay, so you heard it here. Yeah, let's do that because he's such a great dude, and we had some great conversations with him.
Just so many people really got turned loose to truly bring these characters to life. So it's a little more relaxed movie, a little more relaxed production. If you're expecting a gunfight a minute, this is not going to be your movie.
A lot of exposition, huh?
A lot of thought, politics, and the power behind the throne kind of stuff.
Plus something we like to call true sci-fi.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
It gets deep.
It gets real deep. That's
what I mean. At its best, that's kind of what made Star Trek great. The old one where it's thought provoking. It's bringing up subjects. And it's like makes you look at it in a new way.
And Dune does it. It makes you think. So be prepared.
The number one thing I heard from friends of mine overseas was, and it's over already?
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, this first segment, can you believe it's over already? Well,
No.
it is.
It's quick.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio here on News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break and then celebrate some really horrifying yard decorations.
Geek Tank Radio.
Please, you give me too little credit.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
That's what happens when you turn the mics on early. You catch Alan at his true self. And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Alan Gilbreth and our buddy Max behind the glass, doing his job in a stellar fashion, I have to say.
Max extraordinaire.
Next week is the big week, Halloween. Calling it Halloween weekend, I suppose. It's a Sunday. So,
it's all weekend,
Halloween.
baby.
This has been Halloween month here on Geek Tank Radio. But guys, we thought, man, on the internet, I will say one good thing about Facebook is you sure find some pretty cool yard decorations,
I just got to go look out front.
Just driving around Memphis, I've had a blast. I've had, was a pumpkin eating pumpkin carnage. That was over on Walnut Grove. There was, I'm trying to think of the number of skeletons popping up out of the ground.
Tons.
Lots
Brandon's
of
got
those.
that going.
However, dear friend of the show, nice little pirate lady we all know. Let's just say her house has a small spider problem.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Let's just say if you're an arachnophobe, you're not driving down her street.
This is going to be one of these segments where I'm going to come to the defense of social media because I think there's a peer pressure and a need for people that love to show off. They're going to go that extra mile to make their decorations really good because then they can post them on social media and go viral. So
there is that, but it's like honestly, it's for the kids.
Well, see, is it, Brandon? Because
that's the reason why I have a 3-foot-long coffin to fill full of candy.
Okay, you're conscientious. You're a concerned citizen that doesn't want to traumatize the youth of America. Well,
that's why there's a skeleton in the candy.
What about these guys? Like I saw one where I think the police came and made him. Take it apart. What was that one?
Okay,
Brandon?
this was actually a few years back.
Okay.
The guy had a murder scene set up in. He did
a really good job.
He had a dummy.
Yeah.
In plastic wrap, so it looked like someone. And then he also had there was a guy hanging from his tree. It was of course you also not only just the idea of the trauma that goes along with everything, but he also lived down the street from a school.
Well,
so
that's
people
what
were
I'm
walking
saying.
past. It's like, it's,
you got the little kindergartner in their Casper the Ghost uniform or costume coming by for trick or treat.
Yeah, but he went full movie scale. I mean, this wasn't like a newspaper stuffed dummy.
This wasn't like this. Like the stuff you don't buy this stuff at Walmart.
Right.
He like made props. I mean, he just went hardcore. A.G. Howard, who's a friend of the show, would have been proud looking at this. As far as the work the guy did. But yeah, it's like when you're, less than 500 yards from the from an elementary school, the last thing you need is what looks like, open carnage in your front yard.
It looks like CSI needs to be called.
Right.
So that's just, I don't know if you'd call it gross and shocking, but Alan, your one sounded interesting, the one that you noticed, because I think there's the creep factor that it could look very innocent, but when you look closer, you're like, oh, this is wrong. So
all right. The best one I've seen so far was a yard full of dolls.
Yeah, well, that's just creepy.
Just yard full of dolls.
How were they assembled? Were they lined up, or were they?
Well, they were actually in a big snaking trail from the front door out towards the sidewalk. And halfway down was a body wrapped in plastic being carried out of the house by them.
Killer dolls, man.
That's pretty good.
And all I got to say is a wide variety of commercially available dolls were well represented.
See, I think you could do that even without the murder thing. I think it would if you have one sticking its head out or something.
They didn't imply any murder. There's no blood and gore. There's just a lot of dolls and something wrapped in plastic.
I like that one.
So I mean,
it's awesome.
It's like we've added some new stuff to ours this year. It's like from an old headboard and some EVA foam, we have made a cemetery sign. It's the Oogity Boogity Boneyard, which is great.
Well, I get to think I get to say, and I helped.
Yes, you did.
I did.
Yeah.
And then of course my candy coffin wore out last year, so we needed a new one. And Joe engraved the sides and the lid for my coffin, and it's fit together really good. And what's great about it is the pins on the hinges. Pop those things out. They completely lays flat when it goes into storage at the end of it.
Yeah.
But it's I put it together the other day.
It's pretty impressive, Brandon. Are you going to post any pictures of that thing?
I've already put a couple up on my Facebook page, but we still have to hit it with the sealant and the peat moss. Or I'm sorry, sheet moss actually, which I didn't know was a thing.
Yeah.
But you go to Home Depot and they've got crafting moss. It is literally a sheet of moss that you cut out and spray adhesive to things, and it's awesome stuff. But one of the other things that we did last year is Amy made a cauldron, and it bubbles and has lights and everything. Well, we needed witches to go with it, so we now have 3 skeletons that will be dressed as witches. They're basically the Weird Sisters, So we were going to name our cemetery after the cemetery where Macbeth is actually buried, but then we realized nobody in Memphis is going to get that, but you.
That's a deep cut.
I would get it, but
that's not a reason to not do it, Brandon. Because like Joel Hodgson said from Mystery Science Theater, the right person will get it.
Well,
even if it's a select few.
I did make a mistake a number of years back, and I tried to cross over classic literature with more classic literature and Halloween.
Right.
Yeah.
So I tried to cross over Beowulf with Shakespeare with Halloween.
Oh boy, that is a deep cut.
And all I have to say is when you have a big bubbling cauldron, and I mean a real one.
So you made Grendel stew.
The big giant bubbling cauldron, and you start chanting things like "What we got on the good and Theotininga Thrym ye Thrognan." People run.
Your neighbors, the homeowners association has a meeting.
Yeah. But you start explaining, but it's just old English. It's just, and they're like, no, stop.
But no,
witchcraft.
I've seen, but you brought up, a certain, pirate captain and her spider issues. I've seen a lot more spider web made out of beef cloth and everything. all over this city. It's like someone did a crafting video and everybody's like, I can do that.
I can do that. Yep.
Can you reuse that stuff, or do you got to buy it new every year? Because that seems like it would collect a lot of leaves and bugs and everything.
If you do the beef cloth ones, that's literally, you just stretch it out, you cut some holes, then you fold it up and put it away. Now I use the cotton that you stretch across and everything, and you do have to buy, pretty much reuse it. You don't reuse it. You buy new every year. But the truth of the matter is, if you go to any place that sells Halloween decorations afterwards, you can get like 16 bags for like $5.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're thinking ahead, it's like buying all the Christmas decorations the day after.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
I went from having one skeleton in my yard to having a lot more because at the end of last year, Home Depot had their 5-foot skeletons on sale for $7.99.
Yeah.
And I ordered a bunch.
Yeah.
And I ended up having to give 2 away because I didn't have anywhere to store them. But they make great Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
Well, I've noticed some of our friends have been storing their skeletons in their cars this past month.
Well, I mean, that's how you use the carpool lane.
Oh, shout out to Danny Bruns. I was here the other day, and she had a skeleton in her front seat. I guess that's so she can go in the HOV.
Well, you're not going to argue this month.
Yeah. Hey, another big shout out.
I'm not going to argue with Danny anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Another shout out to the person. I think they had a guillotine blood fountain that the cops shut down as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like I guess you get the neighborhood Karens.
Yeah.
Now in this situation, I might be on their side. If I had a 2-year-old next door to something like this, I mean, I don't know.
You gotta have the right neighbors.
Sense.
You gotta have the right neighbors and stuff.
My neighborhood in general has always been really cool about it. Not everybody in our neighborhood decorates for Halloween, because we are very ethnically diverse. So different religions. So there's a handful that are very anti-Halloween, but they've never had any issues with what we do. In fact, I had these kids, the other day that were just sitting there from their yard going, "It looks so cool," while Amy was putting out tombstones. And it makes your heart, like swell up, and you're like, all right, this is awesome. You're going to have to come get like 6 pounds of, Reese's Pieces out of this coffin in a few days because I'm not eating it all.
Yeah. So you say.
Once again, I'll throw in the words, and I could help.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's what the Reese's Pieces, so. I think I think Halloween truly lets people just be a little weird. All right,
but you get to be very creative too.
Unlike any other time of year, Christmas decorations are kind of pre-prescribed. You can get outlandish, you can go over the top, but pretty much you're staying in the same vein.
It's not as much DIY as you get with Halloween.
With Halloween, people really get imaginative.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You got stuff popping out of holes. You got things digging up out of your yard. You got stuff climbing off the roof. You got,
and what's really great is, I know everybody here, especially, fans of you guys, they know the ins and outs of your big box store, your big hardware, stores. 2-inch foam insulation.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that stuff's great. A big 4x8 sheet of that stuff.
Makes amazing tombstones. Mm-hmm. And then you get it with, just tap it off with like some Quikrete. Gives it the right look.
Oh, yeah.
And it's light.
Yes.
That's a good plug, Brandon. That's a very good tip. That stuff is very easy to cut. You just get a nice razor blade and it'll cut exactly the shapes you need. We should have given that out at the beginning of the month.
I also say EVA foam can make any prop you want.
EVA.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna agree with that.
I don't know. But if you've got any great decorations that you've seen, send them to our Geek Tank Radio.
Oh, please send us the
page.
pictures.
And go to geektankradio.com. Send us messages that way. So, all right. Speaking of sending us messages at Geek Tank Radio, another thing you can send in is your Bad Geek Confession. We're going to be getting to this week's Bad Geek Confession when we come back. You're listening to Geek Tank Radio here on News Talk 98.9 The Roar, Memphis. We'll be right back.
Geek Tank Radio.
Oh, they're hopeless. A disgrace to the forces of evil.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
That's something Allan never wants to hear. Yeah, we'll come back to...
she was talking to you, Joe.
Yeah, well, I'll proudly wear that badge. Well, and welcome back to Geek Tank Radio. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Alan Gilbreth and our buddy Maximilian behind the glass. And off the air, we were debating, we've got Guillotine Blood Fountain or Yard Full of Dolls. We were trying to decide which is the best name for a band. I think Yard Full of Dolls kind of is creepier, actually.
I think the other one is actually a band name already.
Yeah.
Guillotine Blood Fountain.
Yeah,
I think they're out of Sweden.
Yeah, I think
Guillotine Blood Fountain. Yeah, Alan's Norwegian, his favorite Norwegian death metal band. So, all right, guys. Well, we teased it before the break, so here we go. Maybe we don't. Never mind. Max didn't have the music cued. All right, it's time for our Bad Geek Confession.
I'm going to tell you something about me that only 3 people in my life know. Can I trust you?
Please sit down, Mary. I'm going to tell you everything.
Everyone has secrets. Everyone tells lies.
Obi-Wan never told you what happened with your father.
I've seen things.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
I'm going to go ahead and throw out an extra contest this week for people,
Are you giving away more of my stuff, Brandon?
Yes, I am. Okay. The first person to send me an email at geektankradio@gmail.com, they can name every one of those quotes, where they're from, where they're sourced.
Oh, okay.
I will give you 2 free 3-day passes to the Memphis Comic and Fantasy. The same I get for the giveaway for the.
So now we're up to 4 passes today.
Well, it's not like they're going to the same person, Joe.
I mean, I'm trying to not go broke here. But
I don't think that I'm going to get an email with all of them.
I'm hearing a crowbar and a wallet over here.
Oh. Okay. Well, anyway, so folks, here we go. The Bad Geek Confession, which is the brainchild of Brandon Olmsted. We're resurrecting it. That was one of the first things we did back. 6 or 7 years ago when we started Geek Tank Radio.
We're resurrecting Brandon's brain?
It's therapeutic.
It happens a lot.
Okay, it's therapeutic because if you when you confess to something, you feel better afterwards. Unless we mercilessly ridicule you.
Sure you
But
do.
also, you can win 2 free passes to the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention.
That'll make you feel better.
So we do want to hear from you, and they're fun to discuss. And you might be helping somebody else because inevitably somebody out there is also guilty of these things, and so we're here to lend our vast years of experience.
We want you to know you're not alone. We all have horrible geek secrets in our closet.
Yeah, and if you believed half of that, then I got a Brooklyn Bridge.
I got enough duct tape. I ain't worried about it.
Okay, this one comes from. There's only one name, Fox.
Okay.
Is that the first name, last name?
Good.
I don't
Doesn't
know.
matter.
I don't know whether Fox is a he or a she.
Codename Fox.
It's their furry persona.
Okay.
It is.
Somewhere in this email address makes me think it's a female. So either way, but Fox says, I cosplayed the same anime character for 3 years. However, I've never even watched the anime.
Hey.
Why mess up a good thing?
Sometimes you got to go with the aesthetic.
It was Grell Sutcliffe from Black Butler. Do you know who that character is, Max?
Grell Sutcliffe.
Oh, well, it's the way it looks. It's a misspelling, and it's spelled in 3.
Are you
3
sure
words.
that says Fox and not Max?
Grell Sutcliffe. Okay, do you know this character, Max? What does this character look like?
Grell Sutcliffe is a Grim Reaper from the show Black Butler, and he uses a chainsaw rather than a death scythe and everything. And rather than dressing up like all, with a black suit and everything like their contemporary Grim Reapers, he dresses up with red. They love the red. They love the red.
Yeah,
that sounds awesome.
Red wig, right?
Red, long red wig.
Okay. I mean, well, we're guessing that's his hair and everything. So, well, what do you guys think of this? Is it necessary? To me, I feel like for the sake of research, you should at least know something about the character.
Okay, see, but that's the thing, is you could totally learn everything you need to know about a character online or by sourcing from, your various friends and everything else without actually having watched anything. I know a friend of mine who, it's like knows everything about Nightwing because they learned about Nightwing from me and the guys that we all hung out with at the comic shop, but totally not a DC fan, does not buy DC books at all, just liked the look of Nightwing. And I'm talking about the blue and yellow high collar Nightwing suit.
Oh, you're talking like the 80s, early 80s Nightwing. What a goofy
it's
outfit
like,
that was. And that thing didn't even have Kevlar, did it?
It doesn't.
Your face is totally exposed,
it doesn't matter.
It's always been exposed.
Let's look at it this way. I mean, how many mermaids have, watched every mermaid movie out there? How many vampires,
That's different.
Actually, most vampires won't watch the vampire movies out there because they find it insulting.
So I'm just kind of like, all right, if you found a picture or aesthetic that you truly, truly liked, and you're having fun and you're totally rocking it, enjoy yourself. I will throw in, though, you might want to find out the nature of your character before you walk around in it.
I got a double whammy on this one. So here's one side of the coin. What if she watched the episode and then she wound up hating this character?
Exactly.
She might only like the look of the character. On the flip side, if you're at a convention and you're in this cosplay, everybody that likes that character is going to come up to you and start chatting you up about, hey, which is your favorite episode, or hey, which is your favorite moment.
And my favorite one that happens is when your anime nemesis approaches you from the other side of the hall.
Yeah, you wouldn't even know if you're supposed to pose as a.
Are you throwing your arms around each other, or are you drawing weapons? What are you supposed to do? What are the signature moves?
Yeah, it would be like
cosplay is also a little more than just the look.
Yeah.
Well, it would be like two cosplayers that didn't know who Captain America or the Red Skull was, and then they pose together and they've got their arms on each other's shoulders and they're all buddy, not realizing they should be facing off, and
I've seen that happen at many conventions.
Yep.
Well, and those people knew who those characters were.
Well, that just takes the reality right out of the, I don't know.
Did you really just bring reality into a conversation about cosplay?
Okay, so this really isn't even necessary. So that
Joe, right now
it's a good confession because I think it means Fox understands that perhaps we need to go watch a couple of videos and get the nature of the character.
Okay.
I think Fox understands that they're only playing half the character.
Joe, I know you've seen Black Butler, so you got no excuse not knowing who Grell is.
No, I thought it was that character, but I don't always remember names.
Max,
not only did he watch the movie, he knows the guy who played Black Butler.
Well, he was one of our guests of honor in 2014. J. Michael Tatum, big shout out to him. And that is a great
I did a
anime.
cartoon with him.
But,
come on.
But let's just be honest, Max. You've worked with us long enough at this point to realize that Joe, he loses his mind sometimes, and it's our fault. Me and Allan have driven him to the edge and back. I'm lucky.
Easily.
So I guess we haven't come to a decision whether this
I'm going to say this.
Confession worthy.
You don't have to have watched the anime. You don't have to have read the manga to be able to know enough about this character to be able to interact in the correct way. Mainly because there are fan sites out there that will tell you everything you need to know about a character, down to the one time they took a bubble bath with another character in their anime, and that episode has never aired in America because of the fact that we have prude. We're
uptight.
Yeah, we're uptight.
Thanks for making that.
No, I'm just telling you, it's like
now Joe's uncomfortable about having the bubble bath.
That is how in depth some of these sites go. And who are we to gatekeep what someone likes as far as the look and aesthetic?
Okay, well, I think
I'm going to say I like the confession because it implies further exploration of the character and a little growth. Yeah. I'm kind of liking
see anything here that says she's getting ready to fire up the TV and watch any of this.
If you confessed it, I think you're thinking about it.
Okay, I think.
No! I make it pretty clear that they're going to win 2 free passes if we read it on the air. I think that's the entire motivation behind making this confession.
Well, I think it was worthy of making the confession because I think that what we're not seeing here between the lines is this is 3 years of this character. She's probably had 3 years of drama, 3 years of regrets, 3 years of uncomfortable moments where somebody confronted her about this character or asked her questions and she regretted it. So I think for this purpose, it is worthy of a confession.
What's really great about the world is that you can totally, just ignore conversations with, creepy people who want to know too much. I mean,
yeah. Okay. All right.
You don't know anybody your story.
Well, if you're a creepy person that wants to know too much, send us your Bad Geek Confessions. Go to geektankradio.com. You could email it at geektankradio@gmail.com. And do not put this on our Facebook page because that defeats the whole point,
right?
And make sure your confession is clearly written and put your name on there.
Yeah, and if you don't want us to give your name, actually put in the email, don't read my name.
And we will accept, if you want to out your friend as a bad geek and you want us to ridicule your friend, we are up for that. And you'll win the free passes.
And we'll totally say their name if you want us to.
Yeah, but no last names. We never give away the privacy.
No last names because we already know who you are.
But congratulations, Fox.
Geek Tank Anonymous.
Yeah, you won 2 free passes to the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention coming up November 12th through 14th. Speaking of that, we're going to give you some updates on the MCFC right after the break. You're listening to Geek Tank Radio here on News Talk 98.9 The Roar Memphis. We'll be right back.
Geek Tank Radio. Oh, no! News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
Oh, yes, Max, we got one more segment. Chill out in there. And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth and our buddy Max. And I suppose we should throw Brandon's wife into this. She seems to not care the fact that we're recording a show. She just texts you right during the show.
Well, I mean, it's like...
distracting you and
whatever, if I can, I can read a text if you can read your script.
Okay.
But no, I get a text earlier. I mean, it's funny because it came in as we were talking about Halloween decorations, and I just checked it during the break, and it says, don't know where to put your bat, leaving it up to you. Yeah. Now, so I have to give you the rundown. I went into Target and I bought a 3-foot tall skeleton of a bat.
Oh, that's
and it's got got a 4-foot wingspan.
Yeah.
But his wings also will enclose on him.
Fold up. Right.
I'll have him all folded up and asleep, hanging up between now and Halloween. And then of course I'll open up his wings on Halloween. And I'm planning on just hanging him from the overhang of my roof.
Upside down. Right?
Yeah, because I mean his feet are set up to hook in just like that.
Brandon, can you put a spotlight behind it and make the skeleton bat symbol?
I totally could, Joe.
That would be worth
it. But the thing is where he's actually going to be hanging, I have a flame bulb in that spot. So, you see him
flicker,
yeah.
Okay.
So, I'll definitely get some pictures and we'll throw them up on the website.
When zombie Batman shows up.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, it'll happen.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, just point out.
I'm just going to give him a bunch of Twix.
Yeah. Hey, guys, too, people out there, this is a little public service announcement. If you have not watched WandaVision, if for whatever reason you were hesitant, I will tell you, to me, it's the best original Disney Plus story, and they have a great Halloween episode. So if you want to binge watch it, you'd be coming into the Halloween season with the perfect show.
I have to agree. That Halloween episode it is perfectly done.
Yeah, really, really good. So check that out. But guys, I said we'd give an update to the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention. So it's November 12th through 14th at the Memphis Marriott East. I do want to say, if you go to our Facebook page, I've posted a contest. We do a lot of contests before the convention gets here. So the contest this week, or I should say this weekend, is if you purchase a ticket to the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention and you share the Facebook post, we're giving away 2 of those original drawings by Dean Zachary of Joel and the Bots, fully colored.
Right.
Dean's going to autograph them, and they're really beautiful. I mean, Dean is a top-notch artist. He's a professional comic book artist.
Full-on talent right there. I mean, I can't say enough nice things about Dean's art. Honestly, we have so many great artists who partake in the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention.
The Mid-South is an embarrassment of riches when it comes to talent.
Yeah.
The arts are rich out here, and as long as we're at it, let's give a shout out to a few of our artists. We've got Mitch Faust, he's been there forever, a fantasy artist. John Martin. John is really. I've watched his art evolve over the years. Another comic book artist.
Yeah, there is something about watching. I mean, we see these guys when they first come in, and they're hungry young talent, and we've watched them over the past 12 years.
Yeah,
just evolve into it's just amazing work.
Josh Anderson, his art has really evolved. I don't know if you've followed him, but because he started coming literally when he was a teenager.
Well, I mean, and I got to give full on props to our mascot creator, the woman who's done so much artwork for us, the woman who designed the basketball court for the University of Memphis, Catherine Knowles, who is also getting married today.
Yeah, shout out
big shout out to her.
Yeah.
Her and Tony, I mean, they met at MCFC, and they're both big art nerds.
Yeah, don't forget, Brandon, you got to plan something special. So we've got a tribute that we got to give to her. She's great. You know who else is great? Melissa. Oh gosh, her name's Melissa. She's got the cute sort of anime art. What is her last name? I don't know, but
I don't know. I don't deal with the vendor application, so I usually only know most of these people by their first
Sorry,
name.
Melissa, but you know who you are. She'll be at the convention, and she's got some great stuff, and she's got really good niche kind of fun stuff. It's not just drawings; it's like little purses and little.
Right. She just makes a lot of stuff. I mean, she's a full-on maker.
Yeah, she's great. We got so many, and I probably left people out, so I'm sorry.
We got a lot of TV celebrities showing up too.
Yeah. Alan's bringing his.
crew.
I
have a hard time believing that any of them are celebrities when they're my friends. It's hard to think of them as celebrities after that.
But Jen Mulvihill, you've known for years, has a hit TV show, and Kate Mobley has a hit TV show, and we're gonna bring in Master of Arms himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true.
Mr. Zeke Stout will be joining us.
I've set up Scott Carroll to actually do stand-up.
The infamous Scott J. Carroll.
I've got him doing storytime stand-up between the Joel Hodgson experience a la carte and the cosplay contest. I mean, Scott's going to go in there, and I mean, we may have to wrestle him off stage when it's all said and done.
I have a panel for you.
Okay.
I have a panel for you, and it's I just want to watch it happen.
Okay.
Because we're going to introduce Jason Fedora to Zeke Stout. I just want to watch that happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Jason Fedora in another world, in another alternative reality, is a very experienced man in the world of law enforcement.
Oh, that guy.
And the fact that we're going to introduce a very ranked individual in the law enforcement world to the Master of Arms.
It's going to be fun.
I just want to be there to watch that happen.
Okay. All right. Enough of the geeky side PSA.
Well, okay. So I'm going to also throw in the fact that our friends from Nerd Alert will be providing us with some amazing retro arcade cabinets.
Right. We've got a different scenario, folks. So like we said, this is important. We got bring your own board games because our board game library this year, it's too hard to sanitize. So we still want you to bring your games, but you're just going to, and we'll have areas where you can set up your board games. For our video gaming, it is going to be fun. They're bringing the retro, old-fashioned arcade style. And if you've been to Nerd Alert, you know they have a great selection.
And they have an amazing, process where so that they can keep sanitizing between players.
Yeah. So I don't think I finished the promotion, but basically, if you buy a pass before 7 p.m. tomorrow on Sunday, you could possibly win one of these original drawings by Dean Zachary. We're going to make the announcement at 7:30, but I also want to mention something, you guys, because some of our friends that are vendors that travel to conventions all over the country, apparently attendance is up significantly at all conventions, and it is not a bad idea to buy your ticket in advance because if we get too busy, there are capacity limits and we will have to cut it off. So you're going to want to make sure you have your ticket in advance. So go to memphiscfc.com. You can get your tickets there. And, I'm proud of the fact that our tickets are affordable. They're really reasonably priced compared to some conventions can get a little pricey for the weekend, but you can enjoy a whole weekend with your family at the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention without going broke. So there's that. There was some more. Oh gosh. Okay. As far as COVID restrictions, we're going to be posting the specifics on the website and on the Facebook page probably within the next day or two. They're nothing out of the ordinary.
I mean,
nothing
new,
that we're
folks,
not used
there's
to.
going to be COVID prescription.
Yeah, you're going to have to wear a mask for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you've gone to any event here in Memphis recently, you probably already know what our specifications will be, but they will be posted. What do you think? Monday?
I'm thinking Monday or Tuesday. I'm going to make one more check with the. I'm going to follow up one more time with the Marriott and make sure I'm up to date on the CDC stuff in Shelby County. But it's nothing that's going to hold us back.
Right.
We're going to still have a lot of fun.
Convention going to happen.
Yeah.
And honestly, why don't you work it into your cosplay? Just make a mask that look. If you're Spider-Man, you're all set. I mean,
I want to cosplay Mortal Kombat characters. Tons of them wear face masks.
Everybody wears a mask. And Brandon, I'd like to thank you for blowing up my phone. The number of people that have already gone, where did Brandon get that bat?
Oh,
that's all I gotta say. It's a number of people blowing up my phone.
Did you get that?
I got it at Target.
Did you
on
get the
Colonial.
last one?
No, they had several. Of course, I bought it 2 weeks ago. They may not anymore, but the Target on Colonial.
Just let you know, you said that and my phone went crazy.
There's something about the skeletons of animals that are kind of fun. I don't know. I know it's mean.
I'm
we
going to
got
say this.
stringers of skeletalized piranhas.
If you want to get a pack of wild dogs, I'll tell you, go to At Home. Because they have multiple breeds.
Ooh, there you go.
All right, well, in the last few minutes, give us some shopping tips, Brandon. And we're not getting paid from these, so you're the man to go.
First of all, when it comes to candy, always make sure that you buy something that you are not going to mind having in the house.
Well,
Don't buy a whole bunch of cheap stuff, because there's a good chance that if weather turns or whatever, you're going to have all that, and you're going to start eating it. And you're not going to like it. So always make sure you get candy that you like as well.
Okay.
If you are looking forward to decorating next year, Dollar Tree, Overstock, places like that will have Halloween decorations at like 25% of what they cost. When you buy them anywhere else. Stack up on your various plastic and rubber creatures. All your different, fencing, the various spider webs, you can get them in, your classic white, but they also have the black light reflective green. I consider it a good idea to go ahead and mix the two, because you get a much better depth perception in it, even if it's only going on the surface.
Pay close attention to your lighting. Get it right.
Definitely get your lighting right.
Yeah.
The other thing is, with the Halloween lights, a lot of those can be reused with your Christmas lights, the greens and the oranges and the purples. And that'll add even more to, your holiday later on. And don't worry about, taking everything down at the end of Halloween. Find a way to repurpose it, because last year at Thanksgiving, I had skeletons sitting around a table playing poker in my front yard
with Santa hats on.
Well, they didn't get the Santa hats until after Thanksgiving, but they did stay out there until, New Year's.
Yeah. No, it's good stuff. And Allan, he just made me think, if you would have gone to the Dollar Tree, you could, for $100, you could have just bought about 100 of those dolls. And I still, that yard full of dolls, I think
that's still one of the creepiest things out there. I mean,
because it's always creepy and it's cheap.
Brandon, you and I have a task this week.
So instead of people throwing toilet paper all over your trees and everything, you
go put a couple hundred dolls in somebody's front yard.
Hey, that's not a bad way. So we're creating new pranks and new ways for people to enjoy. So, well, guys, we got
Joe's
one
got
more.
That big pecan tree.
He does.
One more show before the big weekend. So I'm sure we're gonna squeeze every ounce of blood that we can out of this.
We're gonna get all the spooky season taken care of next week.
But just remember, get your tickets for the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention at Memphis CFC. It's November 12th through 14th. We don't want to miss, you don't want to miss it. It's going to be big this year. But, guys, we're out of time. So, no more plugs. We got to go. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
And I'm Alan Gilbreth.
And I'm Brandon Olmstead, challenging you to eat your entire weight in Twix by next week.